Hello again. So another topic I want to read on is Merrick Garland. So Merrick Garland, he would have made a great Supreme Court justice, someone who is a thinker and an analyzer. As an attorney general, and he has to come out and speak, he kind of, he doesn't exude a whole lot of fire or power. But that doesn't mean beneath the surface, he's not genuinely taking care of all the criminal investigations that we would want him to be taking care of. So let's read on that. Let's read on Merrick Garland. Show us Merrick Garland. You know, is he gonna stick around as Attorney General? And is he gonna carry the weight of that responsibility right now? Or is he gonna let things go in order to be diplomatic, you know, or appear diplomatic, which used to be maybe the way to go, but you can't just keep letting offenses slip between the cracks because you don't want to seem biased. You need to really go after fascists who are out there causing damage to our country. So, Merrick Garland, and like, is he looking at Trump? Let's see if Trump comes up also. Merrick Garland, is he doing it all? Is he doing everything? And is he going to ultimately fulfill a lot? Or is he going to try to be an in-between kind of guy and kind of go easy on people who have served, like Trump, well, who have been in office like Trump? Ace of Swords, that's powerful, that's strong. Okay, that's great. That sort of says, don't worry, he's strong. And he's strong mentally, he's sharp. That's a power card, that's great. And you know, like you think of like the mythology of the sword, like he's the one, you know what I mean? Like he's the one, I think, who's gonna do it. But let's see what's crossing him. That gives me a lot of confidence. What's crossing the situation? Three of Swords. Three swords to the heart, okay. It's almost like, you know, this can be a heartbreak card, but I'm not feeling this like he's, you know, heartbroken. It's almost like how the heart functions in the body, right? You know, it pumps blood to the body and keeps you alive. I just feel like maybe the Justice Department is wounded in some way. Like, I don't feel heartbreak emotion with this. So it's not heartbreak. It's more of there's something off or something wrong with the system, almost like a body having injuries. So like the Justice Department has some issues, some problems. I wonder if there are internal issues within the department resulting from Trump's time there. Some of his people who may still be there. Garland may be dealing with some inquiries that got killed before they were properly investigated, or blocks that were put into place by people within acting in ways that possibly damaged certain investigations. And this is causing difficulty for him, maybe preventing him or the department from operating in the most efficient or streamlined way, or just causing some difficulty. And that may be heartbreaking in a way for him to see that from such a highly respected department. So I'd say that maybe one thing we may not realize is hanging over him right now to some degree. What's on the surface of the situation? The Hermit. Okay, that's really interesting too. And this also makes me very happy because it explains sort of, you know, that he seems kind of quiet. But a hermit, you know, you see him with this lantern. He's looking at everything. So like this doesn't, you know, make me feel like his personality is based on being meek or something, but it's more that this is just how he spends his time, is more examining, investigating, researching, looking at everything. I just feel like he's looking at everything. And he's just not an extroverted person, and that's okay. Neither am I. Clearly. Also, there can be an advantage and even a purpose for an investigator to carry themselves as quiet and unassuming on the surface, so those under investigation feel like they can be a little more relaxed. So what's beneath the surface here for Merrick Garland? You see he is hard at work, and he's sharp, and he's strong. King of Cups beneath the surface. I feel like this is Biden here. You know, Biden put him in office, so Biden must know. Biden's smart. He knows that he put the right person in place. I sort of wondered if he did it out of strategy to get Merrick Garland, who was denied that Supreme Court seat, you know, just get him out there as a little triumph. But I think he knows that he has confidence. And he might, I wonder if that he's down here. I mean, I don't think presidents, I know Trump did, but really, you're really not supposed to be involved. After you nominate someone to head up the Justice Department, you're not supposed to be influencing that person. But at least for Merrick Garland, I think he feels the magnitude of having been selected. I think that what Biden's presence here in this King of Cups represents, I'm realizing watching back, is Biden has given Garland full authority and freedom to go after whatever injustice he sees fit. He won't stand in the way. Like I just noticed, Biden waived executive privilege to block Trump White House records from being released to the Congressional Committee investigation. And I feel he's the same way when it comes to Garland. He gives his full support for Garland to have whatever he needs. Like if wrongdoing happened, go for it. You have my full support. And I do also think that Garland's own personality is also represented in this King of Cups. And Cups, you know, being an emotional person. I remember when he did speak one time, he cried. He's an emotional guy, you know. It's funny because I opened on this reading by saying that Merrick Garland doesn't seem to have a lot of fire. And it seems the cards are saying, yeah, because he's water, not fire. And while fire may be more flashy, if you think about it, the ocean or rivers or floods are also very powerful. And it runs deep in him. So like, you know, some people have a strong voice, other people have strength in that, you know, he's driven, people who are driven by emotion, like, you know, it's better than being driven by money or driven by power. He may just sort of derive more of his power. He's not shallow, you know, he doesn't just take things lightly or casually. It runs deep for him. Another thing about a King of Cups is that he is on a throne floating in an ocean, which again brings me to this feeling that there are people he's not sure he can trust. He's not being a big group meeting guy. He's keeping a lot to himself or to the few he does trust. And what is it? Still waters run deep. There you go. Still waters run deep. So I think that's what we're dealing with when we watch him and he seems sort of still, that still waters run deep. Okay. And deep waters are powerful. It's just a different kind of power. So let's see in the past, the Magician. This card came up in the same position in my last reading. It's very weird, which makes me wonder. And I sort of read it at, you know, like this network, criminal network. So it could be that, I felt him a little bit in that reading, in this position. So it could be that he is also involved in an investigation that ties into this criminal network. And these things take time. Wheel of Fortune, big cards. Okay, things are gonna change. So I think that if things have seemed quiet, like they're not, you know, they're not going anywhere, like that Wheel of Fortune is gonna start turning. And this is also a card of like fate. So I do think he's the right person at the right time. Even if he seems a little like a hermit, maybe that's what we need right now, to be someone who's just meticulous and sharp. This card, it's almost like I picture like a boat that has like a few holes in it. And I feel like that might be the Justice Department right now. And you gotta like fill those holes. So, and it could also be that there's a lot, he has a lot that he has to focus on right now, and it could be 3 major things. Let's see what else we get. I'm just gonna throw all 4 of these. Interesting, interesting. Wow. So what do I see here? So King of Swords, I mean, this is coming out strong and fast. This is aggressive. I said King of Swords, but I meant Knight of Swords. That's the card here, and I did read it right. I will add that while this could be referencing Merrick Garland's energy, it could also be referencing a person or people working under him or with him, executing his orders or taking on their own cases. And this knight tells me they are ready to fight aggressively and are actively fighting now. And this would be something that's happening right now. So he's going after, if we're not seeing it, he is going after people aggressively. I hope this has to do with like maybe subpoenas or something. Like a lot of things can just happen on paper that we don't see, but he's going after. Like this would be like more his spirit. He's going after stuff. Illusion, delusion in the atmosphere. Oh, I get it. Okay, a lot of this is also, they don't want to give away what they're investigating right now for whatever, you know, which is common in investigations. You don't want to like show your cards. So I'm really getting this 7 of Cups as what we hear in the news and media. Like we're all worked up by what's being projected on the screens we watched because it's all the information we can get. But this card suggests that whatever we're seeing isn't quite accurate to what's happening. And sometimes I think that can be on purpose. Hopes and fears, King of Wands. Okay, I think there's a grand jury, there's a judge. There's a grand jury and a judge, and the hope is that this judge is going to let him continue to go after what he wants to go after. I do believe that attorney generals still have to get a grand jury and everything to move things forward. That's definitely a judge. So, and then death card at the end. It's like, obviously there are a lot of different ways you could interpret this, but I'm interpreting it as like, okay, so you see, like, so the angel of death sort of arrives and is, I mean, you see this guy, he's coming on his horse and he's like stomping on people. I think that, but you know, like it's interesting, sort of doesn't like death kind of come quietly, and that sort of would explain how he's going to come down upon people is going to be more of a quiet arrival, but a powerful one is what's more powerful than death, right? So I do feel this to be, what is it, like the death blow, right? He's gonna deliver. He's gonna deliver. Let's see if we can get anything else. Not that, you know, obviously we're not literally talking about a death blow, but like a powerful moment of woe will come. The Chariot, there you go. This is like authorities, military. I don't think it's necessarily military, although that's interesting. If we're talking about like the January 6th stuff, there's a death blow coming ultimately in whatever it is he's working on. And this is a very powerful card of coming after, you know, similar like coming after powerfully. They're going to be going after some people and coming down hard. So we have stuff coming. This Wheel of Fortune, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of that moment that things turn. Justice, look at this. Oh my God. I could not be getting a more like, yes, don't worry, it's all coming. The Chariot, death, justice, Wheel of Fortune here. In fact, if you look at the spread right now, all 6 cards on the top row are major arcana, which is wild and feels major. There are only 22 major arcana in a 78 card deck, and I got a lot in my last reading as well, and the reading before that, so I can't help but think that big things are coming, at some point anyway. And maybe it's all connected somehow. Like maybe connected to that magician, which I've been reading as this criminal network, which I got in my last reading and the reading before that, I believe. It keeps coming up. So I think there's something to that. Interestingly, the magician, this is also working with many other, can be, I say it's like a network. It can be working with many other organizations, FBI, CIA, that sort of thing. So that could be represented here also. By the way, a great example of a positive and powerful network like the magician is the recently released Pandora papers, which were worked on by more than 500 reporters in nearly 90 countries. I feel like we're going to have more of this kind of collective work, networking, that will be what overcomes some of these negative networks. Getting the information and waiting for the right time to come forward and take care of all this. Justice makes me just feel, we are reading on the Department of Justice. It makes me feel a trial, big trials, big justice coming. Wow. And burdens here with a 10 of Wands. It's a lot. 10 is the most. And burdens, I would say, this is what he's carrying. He has a lot, and he's carrying a lot. And so what's coming, basically, with this Chariot, this death, this justice, is a lot. And that's what we're watching. This is what he's managing right now. I'm not saying he's overburdened, but this, I think, is what he's managing is a lot. So that answers all my questions. And this illusion delusion is smart investigators don't want to give away what they're up to. So they might even play like the opposite. So whatever you think you're saying, there's more to it. This Knight of Swords is really what's going on. He is going after people. I'm feeling this 9 of Wands. He's just feeling a little confined with that Moon card. Geez, more of these majors. And the Empress. Watching back, seeing that Moon covering the Empress, the Moon would be dark secrets, dark money, hovering over America the Beautiful, the nurturer, our fair democracy. The Knight of Wands says he is standing his ground in this, but it's difficult, and he's up against a lot of forces trying to knock him off. But ultimately, it's a card of survival and standing one's ground. And I happened to notice, watching back, beneath that Empress America card is a 6 of Wands victory card, which immediately takes me to the Trump team's attempt to steal the election victory from Biden and give it to Trump. So I think this is a much bigger investigation that's happening, but quieter, at least for now. I think there's a lot of loops that you have to go through, like grand juries, that sort of thing. So it's almost like the Moon is like what you don't see is like why he's might seem slower or quieter, more constrained. There's some constraint that he's having to deal with. And this Empress, like America, like, and the Moon is kind of like, feels like just like the dark side of some things in America that he's looking into. So I feel better about him and better about that. But I really think, especially with the Justice and the Chariot, if you imagine death arriving to a town and sort of like, uh-oh, death is here. It's like, I don't think death says much, but has a tremendous amount of power and can take you out. So I feel, so I hope that's helpful. I hope you felt the same from the cards. If you're watching along, let me know if you have any thoughts on that. But I hope that gives you confidence in Merrick Garland. If you were wondering, the cards at least are telling us, don't worry, be confident in what's coming, what he's going to be able to deliver as Attorney General. Basically, don't worry, there's strength there, and there's a lot going on that we just don't see. But a whole lot of justice is coming. So that's what I get on that. I thank you for watching. Let me know if you had any thoughts, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.